What is good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode brought to you by the League FFB. Today, we are going to be talking about 4 possible keep, trade, cut scenarios that I've pulled directly off of keeptradecut.com. We're going to be talking quarterback, running back, wide receiver, and tight end. I got one scenario for each position group. But before we get into that video, go ahead and make sure that you join our Discord. Our Discord is linked in the description. It is free to join. We are doing a giveaway for a free signed NFL mystery box. All you have to do to enter that giveaway is be subscribed to the YouTube channel and enter the Discord. Once you're in the Discord, you'll be able to go into our giveaway tab and you can click participate right there. Once you've done that, you're entered to win. That's all you have to do. You have about 60 days to enter that giveaway. We will be concluding entries at the end of July, and at that point, we will give away our jersey. Now, without further ado, let's get into this video. I want to talk about keep, trade, cut scenarios. And first and foremost, we're going to start with the quarterbacks. So on keep, trade, cut right now, we have Jordan Love, Kenny Pickett, and Jared Goff. They're all ranked similarly. And so for me, I'm going to be keeping Kenny Pickett, trading Jared Goff, and cutting Jordan Love. And the reason why I'm doing this is really it's coming down to a few things for me. One of them is going to be age. Kenny Pickett is the youngest of the quarterbacks. The first round draft capital, even though it isn't draft capital that we usually want out of our quarterbacks, we do want our guys to kind of go top 10, top 15, but it's first nonetheless. And I do think that the Steelers are building around Kenny Pickett. So I am going to lean keeping him in this scenario. Now I do want to trade Jared Goff. I think he's the second most valuable of those guys. I believe in him more than I believe in Jordan Love. I think that if he has a good season with the Detroit Lions this year, they're going to be in a position where they're going to extend Jared Goff, and you're going to get more out of him than you think that you would. You know, last year when you had Jared Goff on your teams, we thought it was kind of a one and done situation for Jared, but at this point, it looks like he might end up being their guy for the next little while. And then Jordan Love, I'm going to cut Jordan Love because I just don't believe in the talent of Jordan Love. I know we haven't really seen a ton out of it, but I wasn't high on him as a prospect. I think it's been a little too long that he's been sitting on the bench. His starting window is just as short, maybe even shorter than both of these guys. Definitely, I think is going to be shorter than Kenny Pickett, but it's debatable for Jared Goff. So I ended up keeping Kenny Pickett, trading Jared Goff, and cutting Jordan Love because of those situations. Now, the second scenario that I have for you guys is the running backs, and the running backs was the toughest one of them all for me. It's going to be Travis Etienne, Kenneth Walker, and Josh Jacobs, and they're all RB7, 8, and 9. So I'm ending up keeping Josh Jacobs. I'm going to trade Travis Etienne, and I'm going to cut Kenneth Walker. And so let me walk you through this process, because to me, the easiest of the answers was keeping Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs is 25 years old. He's not much older than Travis Etienne. He's a little bit older than Kenneth Walker, but really it's not a substantial difference in my opinion. I do think that Josh Jacobs is in a scenario where he is, one, has the least competition in the backfield, and two, he's just proven that he is a stud. 1,000-yard season after 1,000-yard season after 1,000-yard season, and then last year finishing in the top 5 as a running back in fantasy football. It's just, I think Josh Jacobs is good, man. I know they didn't give him a long-term deal, and I know that that's kind of part of the question marks that go into the decision-making process here, but when I'm looking at these running backs, I'm looking at them in, 2-year windows anyways, and I think Josh Jacobs has a really good 2 years ahead of him. I think he's the safest, and that's why I'm going to end up keeping him. Now, I was really debating on what I was going to do between Kenneth Walker and Travis Etienne, because to me, this was really difficult decision, but ultimately it comes down to, I think that Travis Etienne having the first-round draft capital, going to a system where he kind of gets to play with his buddy Trevor Lawrence, and ultimately having Tank Bigsby come in, it kind of hinders it a little bit, but I do think Tank Bigsby isn't as great of a prospect as Zach Charbonnet, and so that's why I ended up trading Travis Etienne, because I think his value is there. I still see some upside for him to potentially, hopefully get some of that receiving work that we've been wanting out of him, but Kenneth Walker, man, he's not going to get any receiving work really, and I just don't trust Geno Smith and the Seahawks as much as I trust Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars. So that is why I'm going to cut Kenneth Walker, but it was really close, and I think you could really go either way with this situation. Now let's talk about the wide receiver scenario. On keep, trade, cut, all of these guys are ranked right next to each other. Again, it's going to be Christian Kirk, Diontae Johnson, and Amari Cooper. So for me, I am going to end up keeping Amari Cooper, trading Diontae Johnson, and cutting Christian Kirk. And this really comes down to Amari Cooper has Deshaun Watson. He is the clear wide receiver one in his offense, and last year he had a hell of a season, and we didn't even get a full year of Deshaun Watson. I mean, Amari Cooper was balling out. I know he's the oldest of the group here that we have, but I think if you're looking at it in, 2 to 3 seasons, Amari Cooper is likely going to have the most fantasy football points over the next little while. So I am going to be keeping Amari Cooper because of that. Now, I did end up trading Diontae Johnson. I think he's the second most valuable of these guys. I just believe in the talent. I think you could argue that Diontae Johnson is the wide receiver one for the Pittsburgh Steelers still. I know that a lot of people like George Pickens, but I think from a technical standpoint, Diontae Johnson really might be the number one wide receiver still as far as targets go. And at the end of the day, I just believe in the route running, and I think even if he isn't with the Pittsburgh Steelers in a year or two, you're still going to be in a situation where you want to have have Diontae Johnson on your rosters because he's going to be a valuable piece wherever he goes just because of his skills in his route tree, which ultimately means that I had to cut Christian Kirk. I do think that he is the least valuable piece here. The addition of Calvin Ridley, bringing back Evan Engram, and the addition of Tank Bigsby means to me that they kind of want to get a little bit more balanced in their run versus pass offense. I think Christian Kirk is really good. I think he's going to be a fine fantasy football player, but I do think the addition of Calvin Ridley will hinder him enough that you want to cut him and keep these other two guys or trade the other guy over Christian Kirk and ultimately make those decisions. Now, my fourth and final keep, trade, cut scenario was for the tight ends, and that is going to be Greg Dulcich, Cole Kmet, and Dalton Schultz. And so for me, again, on this one, I am going to be keeping Dalton Schultz, trading Greg Dulcich, and cutting Cole Kmet. And this one was tough for me as well, but it came down to Dalton Schultz is in a situation where he is likely going to be the number one or the number two receiving target in that offense. I just think he's going to get the most opportunity, and that is why I want to keep him over the other guys. I don't necessarily think he's the most talented. I think the most talented of this group is Greg Dulcich, but the opportunity is going to speak for itself, and I think Dalton Schultz is going to have the opportunity to get, 100 targets this year for the Houston Texans. Now, I do decide to trade Greg Dulcich. Again, I just said that he is the most talented of the group. I really do like what he put on tape. Solid draft capital for the most part for Greg Dulcich, and I think that the addition of Sean Payton is going to help Greg. It's just a matter of how does he fall within that depth chart pecking order. Is he going to be the second option? Is he going to be the third option? Is he going to be the fourth option? It's really clouded enough to me that I really don't know how to value him. I think the upside is there. I just don't know where he's going to land as far as targets and where he's going to stand on that receiving depth chart. So to me, that's why I'm going to end up trading him, which means that I'm going to end up cutting Cole Kmet. I really liked Cole Kmet for a long time. He just really hasn't shown me anything fantastic. I know there was a couple games last year where he kind of showed us a little bit, but they are adding additional receiving options. They add DJ Moore this offseason. Make it for what you will, but they do have Darnell Mooney and Chase Claypool. They drafted Tyler Scott. To me, I don't know how confident that the Bears are in Cole Kmet. I don't know how confident I am in Cole Kmet. So I think we kind of know what he is at this point. He's kind of one of those middling tight ends that's just really never going to break that mold into that top five. I really don't think he ever will. And so for that reason, I want to try and get somebody who I think can. And that's why I'm going to be cutting Cole Kmet, because I think that Greg Dulcich and Dalton Schultz have a higher possibility of doing that. I'm not saying that they will, but I think that the possibility is higher for them. I just am not sold on Cole Kmet at this point, and it's unfortunate because I really did like him. Now, that is all I have for you guys today. If you did enjoy the video, go ahead and leave us a like, comment, subscribe, and really do all of that stuff. If you do enjoy fantasy football content, and specifically Dynasty fantasy football content, go ahead and share this video with your league mates. Our goal is to help as many people win Dynasty fantasy football championships as possible, and so we can only do that if we can help more and more people. So thank you guys. As a small channel, we really do appreciate you taking some time to watch a video and really just do all those things that really help us out to grow. So thank you again. And again, go join that Discord. We are giving away a free signed NFL jersey mystery box, so it is going to be linked in the description. If you haven't entered, go enter. It's free to enter. I don't have anything else for you guys today. I will see you on the next video. Peace out.